Sunday. Happy Thanksgiving week. A couple things to go over before we get started. If you have TradingView, been waiting to upgrade your TradingView, obviously now's the time. Crazy deal with their 80% off. Also, we will be having discounts on lifetime and yearly, but that will be it for yearly, or excuse me, for lifetime. And that's it. We're done. Um, Now, this week going into this week, we have some decent data. We got core PPI, retail sales, core retail sales, um, pending home sales, all on Tuesday. Tuesday's a pretty chock full week. Wednesday, unemployment. This have your, I think your old setup was better. I know, but I'm doing some construction behind me, so no face. Wednesday, it's funny you say that because there's like a dude who has like 500 viewers every night, and the only thing you see is his fucking hand. So who knows, man? As long as you guys get the analysis, that's what's important. You know what I mean? I'm not viewers. The wave comes and it goes. I'm here though. Damn, my hair is getting fucking long. Good lord. Um, I don't think this week's going to be all that great. No. And it is going to be a short week as well. So anyway, unemployment claims coming in as well. You know what? I've been meaning to do this, and let me go ahead and do it now before. Okay, guess we're not adding that. All right, I can't do that. Anyway, sorry. Back to what I was saying. Tuesday, Wednesday, decent data, pretty chock full, but it is going to be a short week. This is obviously going to keep me away from the charts. Enjoy your week. All right. If there's anything obvious, we're gonna take it. Now, that being said, last week, and tonight, right, we had an open that does speak to a potential choppy couple of days. Again, we can only go with set triggers or alerts above and below. And if those are triggered, we can look to take our trades. That being said, we've opened up on the NQ, basically retesting the open from, what is that, Tuesday? We retested the open from Tuesday, which is a floor that we needed to reclaim, and we were unable to last Friday. And so I expect that probably between now and open, we'll see that 24, what is this, 24, 363? We'll likely see that level get retested, if not possibly more. Now we go to the 2-hour time frame. You can see the floor over here to your left is what is being refused. So what keeps you from accessing all this empty space? It's, of course, this floor. Now, that being said, underneath us, as we move down into the hourly, you see a clear, what is that, 24,240 as a top, and then the bottom, which is debatable, is 2,400 or 24,000. But you do have wicks here at 23,935, right? So that being said, and it could, yeah, you're right. It is. I have drawn a channel on this before, kind of starting back here. Oops. There is some channel like attributes, but as you can see, it's kind of dipping and diving. So no telling right now. I'm maybe on even on a lower time frame with this wide fluctuation in price. But that being said, when the channels don't make sense, the horizontal is what I focus on. So between now and the open, you can basically count on this on the 30-minute to be your range and what separates you from potential new highs. So we will wait, we will watch, see if Monday and Tuesday is where they pack in the volume, or if this week everybody's on the fishing boats with their boys. All right, now ES is ES is opening up in a similar fashion on the 24-hour. However, It's this wall here that we need to clear, which is that 6690 or 7K, right? And we're us opening nowhere above that leaves this to intraday price action and retesting the open, which is, or the close, excuse me, from Friday, which is that 6633. Go to the 4-hour and you'll see that floor, which we have been able to recover on ES, not on the Qs, but it is sitting at its old cost basis. So that being said, it's going to be that 6690 that we could see the rest of that play kind of open up. It is the floor here at 6620 that needs to hold. And there is a lower time frame box, which again, this is just a great setup for range. There is a lower time frame box underneath you, and that would be here with its top at 65.90, median at 65.68. So right now you're just, there's nothing here, right? And that's okay. Sometimes there's just nothing there. RTY is going to be in the same boat, right? As it's pretty much opening up. It actually already filled up its empty space. But that being said, if it wants to move any higher, it's this open at 23.97 or basically 2400. That would be, as you can see on the 4-hour, that would be where we would want to see a break. It's obvious, it's clear. That being said, over to your left, basically leaning on an old box, right? It's going to be right there. That box is what's still holding us up. So falling underneath it, empty space underneath you, yada, yada, yada. This one might be the only one that's decent for a day trade at some point this week. Anyway, that's it for our ETFs. We'll recap those tomorrow morning. Obviously, with this week being, typically not great volume. If it's not great volume, I'm not going to be here because that would be great. I love you guys though, and I hope that if you do take trades, that they do make you money. If I do not be here, that's not English. All right, here we go. If you have any request, and I am going to be brutally honest, again, I'm focused on my strategy. If you have any questions about my strategy, if you have anything, whatever that you want to talk about as far as the Potter box, nothing to do with feet, that'd be great. And also, yeah, never mind. I'm just going to leave that out. All right. Let's see what we got. What do I think about Tesla? Of course, we're going to get this one. And listen, I told Manny with that rejection over here at 20, what was that? Basically 430. And its inability to lose the floor, screw this channel, delete everything. You know what I mean? That is what's being refused, right? If you go to the weekly, it's already been lost. And so it's hard for me to be bullish on this right now due to where we closed. Now, this was 50%, right, of that empty space. And it was this previous floor over to your left, right? That 380 mark, that's basically where we bounced. So if we want to see any continuation of the downside, that's where it's going to happen. That's likely where you're going to touch down. That's 367.75. Maybe, depending on the momentum, we can see the 355s. But that would be that downside move. Of course, there's always the possibility that I'm wrong. And if that was to occur, it would start, and this could occur, by breaking back up. Right, and that would look like a 403 break. You can kind of see, I mean, even if I didn't put that box there, you can just see how these candles hold at 401. You can break that down on the 30-minute. You can see the box up above you right there. There's your cost basis. That's 402. And then you could try to shoot your shot up into that empty space. Beware of the 411. That has been a rejection point across the board. Right now, I kind of remain a little bit neutral, but of course, with us bouncing before we even get to the floor, if we end up hitting it again and nothing happens, no result, we'll see how the tone is going in next week. So, all right, if you guys don't mind, this is all free, right? Free blueprints. So if you guys don't mind tapping your screen, all I want is your fingers. Pause, resume. Don't pause your fingers. I mean, pause what I said. But don't pause your fingers, but don't take it that way. You know what I meant. All right. IW, are you asking? Oh, I just did this one. virtually no change overnight. I can't really give you any further analysis, but there's empty space down below. A punchback is what led you up there, and that box is what's going to basically keep you. So it would be like 230, motherfucker, 234, right? Anything underneath 235, excuse me, would likely be where we would explore that empty space. 232.68. So there's a box. Thanks for sharing the live. All right. Where'd the chat go? There it is. All right. What do I think about Baba earnings? Oh, dude, I barely got out alive on Baba. I had to fucking reverse Uno card that motherfucker. All right. I'm actually really interested in Lulu. For the boxers are nice too, but look at the weekly. How many more times do we need to see a bounce? And we could see a lot more. Lulu has proved that before, but it's been a pretty damn ball. Oh my God, look at this thing. It builds up just like it did, and then it rips ass. And it's typically on earnings that it does that. Earnings that are right around the corner. So you can imagine, yeah, there's probably going to be some money thrown at this trade. Lulu's a little bit expensive. The target would be right around 189, but of course, the empty space. I mean, you could look to the downside, which is less exciting at only 150, but to the upside, you know, if you look at it inside of its range, right, it's building here. So that's its own box. You got 3 off the top, 171. You have a empty space move here to 177. Cost basis shares the same resistance as it did there. And so, yeah, empty space up above. We could be looking at a 198 target. That would be the upside potential. We'd have to look at those contracts. But I don't mind this one at all. And in fact, handy dandy fucking notebook here. What is this? AO wrote Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina. Is this kid trying to get out of America? What are we doing here? Spain? You just write in my notebook for it, dude. Interesting. Just a list of countries. His next targets. It's just random group of countries. Oh, look at this. Vivo in Savannah, George Los Espados, Unidos soy de soy de Savannah. Interesting. Okay, he's been using this as his Spanish book because he's taking Spanish. Okay, cool. Siente. Okay, yeah, look at that. He stole my book that I write stocks in. Oh, shit. Damn. Did some graffiti in it, dude. My son tagged my fucking stock book. This guy's crazy. Anyway. All right. Sorry. Got a little distracted there. Tap your screens. I'm going to write Lulu down. Yeah. All right. SoFi is on the list. Or excuse me, Lo-Fi. Lulu. What the fuck? All right. What else do we got? What else do we got? Keep dropping your request if I already missed them. Hood. Empty space on the 24-hour to go and retest this floor at 112.44. Might see individual equities run up on Monday. Might pull people into trading environments, but I expect for that floor to get hit. Highly likely, and it will I would assume behavior similar to what the Qs are doing. You have 2 levels there that need to be recovered. One's 113.50 as well. So translate that down to the lower time frames. CMG to the upside. It doesn't look bad. Does not look bad. You've got 3 off the top here. Of course, this is important for it to definitely move up. Lower time frame shows a box on the 4-hour. The floor of that box is 32.50. The top is 33.70. 33.15 is your cost basis. It follows pretty much well down here. So it is a break outside of 3214 that really is going to make this get going. But Catalyst would be nice. Whatever that may be. I might keep that one on the watch list too. Sometimes when I see stuff like that, like I'll just risk fucking $1,000 and on some longer expiration contracts, you know, going out like like a month or two. Right place, right time, because it looks like a setup that could shoot up for sure. You know, 37. I don't know what the type of. It hasn't really had a lot of those big shots up, unfortunately. See what's underneath it. It's got more to fall. It's got more to fall, but good stop loss. That's all I can say. All right, let's keep it moving. Ooh, what the hell just happened? Google Lens? Whoa, what's happening? Help me! Ah! What is this? Ooh. What the fuck? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Am I teaching AI how to do this? That's crazy. Okay, sorry. Anyway, yeah, it's like a new AI. I'm just wondering, I'm like, can I teach it? Dude, I mean, I'm just like anybody else. If I could teach this shit to fucking scan through the market with and just find shit that looks like this with empty space up above it, dude, it seems like it would be so simple, but I can't seem to get it the way that I want it to be. You know what I mean? Anyway, all right. So CMG looks good. I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled on that one. Let's see here, Rivian. Obviously, you guys know the deal. I'm with you on this one. Still waiting. Unfortunately, it didn't really behave the way I wanted it when it went back up to retest some of these previous levels, like 11 or 1550, and has filled up its empty space and bounced really well off of that, building underneath it. This could be a really good day trade. I think above 50, excuse me, you could take a shot on this one going up to 1630. And then, you know, because of the looser price action above it, it's just really about recovering floors there. And that's going to be 1650. Once that's filled, you can kind of break this down with some lower time frame boxes up in the 1750s. All right. Set alerts. If it's interesting to you, set alerts. UPTS. So this thing clearly has a lower 4 hour. So I have a channel drawn. That's intriguing. It doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I guess it does move well, but right now it's definitely in the dumps. It's filled up most of its empty space. Okay, made empty space on the way down. I'll write that one down. You know what? I'll write that. I'm gonna write it down. If I don't want to say it out loud, I write it down. So we're gonna set an alert right here. We're gonna set it up right here at 2190. I don't mind that one. Thank you guys for tapping the screen. Oh yeah. Muchas gracias. Chunky Bobo? Oh, dude, what's up? What do I mean by what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Mara. So I actually have this one. I almost deleted it, but after how it's it fell off. I'm I'm interested in it again. I could make a bag on this one. Now, time obviously, you know, not to get you too amped up, but like we're at the floor. this would be the time to explore the notion, right, of a potential comeback on Mara. And it's probably not one that you want to miss, given the floor recovery starting at 1107. Again, setting alerts. If you don't have the Premier Trading View, you're a dork. It's 80% off. Stop buying nugs. Start buying financial tools. All right. Now, that being said, 1 hour time frame, little box right here, right? So we could set an alert. We can actually move that alert right here at 1038. There's good empty space all the way up here to 1098. So I mean, yeah, I'm pretty down to trade that. On the 30-minute, it's not. It's got a little range right here that it's got to move through, and then the floor gets 1088, and then you got a pocket of empty space. I think up here is really where I'm interested in Mara, and I mean, looking at how sometimes, well, actually, a lot of the times, in fact, most of the time, when it falls like this, it's got to build. So that's going to be kind of a requirement for me. I hope that this space in here, I hope this is a box. That's what I would prefer. So I'll even move my alert up to 1018. But yeah. Bill Dahmer, can you talk about my strategy in 5 minutes? Yeah, my strategy is to use the 24-hour time frame on, to use the 24-hour time frame with extended hours on. I look for areas of consolidation with more than 2 touches off the bottom and the top. I look for areas that look like this that fall really, really quickly, and I take target-based contracts. So in this case, I typically aim for the floors up above me, or actually, perfect example here. I look for boxes like this. This is a by definition punchback. This is actually a trade that I took back in 2024, which is just last year. But it is a 50% candle close through a box. That is what I'm looking for as a signal or a promise for continuation to the upside to whatever high is above it. And if that high is far away due to empty space, then I aim for structure. I trade box to box, if you will. All right. I can break it down a lot more, but you could also go to my YouTube. Thank you guys. We're almost at 10,000 likes. It's a good one. I mean, even just for a little day trade in there could be interesting, but if obviously I have a whole workshop on my strategy. People can use my strategy to trade futures, crypto, scalp, sell options, day trading, swing trading, all of the above. And it's utilized both on the lower time frame and the higher time frame. So like what I just said to you on the lower time frame would be true here, right? We still have boxes. We still have well, this is more of a range. If it only has 2 or 1 touch on both sides, it's a range. Still has empty space. So I'll take trades going into that empty space, especially if floors like this get recovered. That promises me that we see continuation. So I trade inside of pockets of empty space. That's literally what I do on higher time frames with options. All right. Keep dropping your requests. Yeah, man, I know my videos are a little long. If you go to the, let's see here, playlist, educational purpose, I took the Q short going over. Let's see, so the Potter box breakdown, that's only an hour and a half. I look terrible, but how's it going, everybody? It is Potter Stocks, and this is setup video. Yeah, that's the introduction. I mean, honestly, dude, just take this, turn the speed up to like fucking as high as you can, and just let that fucker rip, dude. Again, it's important. These NFTs IC backed. Period. This is something that is important because I did it. It should be fixed. Okay. All right. Moving forward, guys. I want to keep moving here. So, SPY software. Now, briefly, just to give you an exact. All right. Keep dropping your requests. What else are we looking at here? Thank you guys for tapping your screen. Appreciate it. All right, so this one does not really look great to me. Right, well, you know what? Hold on. Right at the first glance, for an immediate play, it does not look great. There are some signs that there could be a potential channel here, but I don't like to force shit. So I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to leave it alone. So if I can't place a channel or it doesn't look clean, I refuse to place it, right? It's not worth it. That's also not a box. So here's what I see up in front of me. I'm going to simplify this because I'm looking over to my left and I'm not really seeing any floors. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of structure. I see some structure here. However, that's already been punched through. Cost basis has already been bounced off of. That being said, above you, you're going to have this on the 24-hour time frame. You're going to have this floor at 68.21. There is no upside until that gets recovered. In order for that to happen, you're going to need to punch through or move through this range with a median at 60, and that's going to share a floor. So simultaneously, the floor $66 will be that box there. So pushing up above $66, you have a chance to move. The 4 hour seems to be a good place to navigate. All right. Yeah, it is a parallel channel. Yes. Sometimes it's just like, dude, there is no channel. Or if the 24-hour channel is broken, you've likely fallen into a much higher time frame channel, right? Something that you wouldn't be able to spot at glance, which a lot of the time takes some zooming out. All right. Now, Uber looks like it's coming off of a floor and ceiling. Kind of simple right there. Big bounce, big area. Typically, this thing, again, doesn't go for immediate reversals, does like to build. So be careful trying to catch it right off of the bounce. It does look like on a lower time frame that is happening. That being said, I'm going to look for my first candle. Let's see, 30-minute time frame. All right. So I don't know if I want to call that a box, but I'm going to give it that. Above 8450, and I cannot say that the entirety of this empty space is likely going to get filled. I would assume that Uber's first floor will be 8585. That would actually, I'm not going to assume, that would be my first target on Uber. So am I tripping, or is it easy Potter, am I tripping, or is it easier going to the ETFs to chart than to and look for price targets rather than charting the futures? I think futures, when I chart futures on the weekend, I'm setting up like parameters, right, for where I need to be or where it needs to be come open. And that just serves as, because I know how that correlates to the ETFs. But I'm always going to look at the ETFs, that's the most important thing. And so we're only getting a glance at what, again, might be happening, or where we might open, and that can help us to me. It doesn't make any sense looking at stocks without see, like, if there's a major gap up on futures, we have to take that into consideration. Right now futures hasn't really moved at all, so we can look at this analysis and just call it what it is. So all right, love 24. Oh my god, that's it's a rough chart right there. I'd rather dive in a tub of Bengay in the Arctic Circle for an hour naked than trade this thing. There's no love here. Even the monthly chart, I don't know. Yeah, I can't. It's really no. Sometimes it's just better to say I don't know. There's like even the empty space up there is filled. You know what I mean? Hot dog water. All right, Bank of America. Still going to be a hot dog water chart to me as well. Does have a little bit of a better range sitting right there. 4 hour time for that's rough. All right. Yeah, I see a little bit of empty space up here to 54. That's yeah, so outside of 53, you could look for a trip up a dollar move up there. Pull it down. Pull what down? Oh shit, my bad. All right, let's see here. Verizon. There's some empty space up there. I think that's a pretty clear chart. 4150. You're looking for a target of 4235, 4250. 4 hour says 4284. So you got 3 taps off the top. That does not look bad. It's not look bad at all. It does have a channel that it's riding inside of right now, but I think that's locked in anyway. So, all right. What's up, mate? Carvana. I actually we'll write that one back down. I think it was the price of the contracts that kind of kept me away from this one, but 24 hour. So yeah, I mean it looking at it in the past, it does typically build. It did that, it pulled back, it's done that. And it doesn't do a terrible job at running through its empty space. And I think that gives us a clear target of 5860. Obviously, market cooperation is going to be helpful, 6175. Again, I don't know about this week, but right now, one of the main breaks for me is going to be over 5455. 5455. Dahmer, my brother, last question. Dahmer, it probably doesn't help that it's dark in here either. You guys want to watch a video? I'm sorry. Uh, but can I please come up with a monthly membership for the poor peeps? I feel like this is a monthly membership. You know what I mean? Like you're really not missing out. What you're missing out on is the group. But it's tough because if I open up the monthly membership, people who haven't taken the workshop are going to come in the Discord, open up the live. The only way that I could do that, is by allowing people to come into the Discord, but they could not open their mics. That's probably the only solution. But at the end of the day, man, I feel like it's a goal. You know what I mean? Like, let me help you make the money. If you really want to join yearly or whatever, like, let me help you. Like, figure that out. Yeah, I don't know. Feel like if you're really dedicated, you really want to learn this shit. You know what I mean? If you have the money, you just want to cut to the chase. Get the workshop, whatever. Like, do you? But like, if you're really into this, like, and you're focused, locked in, YouTube, watch my recaps, ask questions. You know what I mean? Like too many of you, I feel I try to answer as many questions as I can. I know I get distracted. I just want to take some pictures. All right. Anyway, bro, we don't have enough IVs to. Yeah, we a new channel. Yeah, right. Not eating that. All right. What else are we looking at? PayPal. write down your questions. I actually got a DM. What was it on? Was it? I think it was PD. No, it wasn't. It was he knew. Trying to see where he's at. It might have been somebody on TikTok, but they said like they had been watching this whole time and they had finally like made the money to do it, but also feel like they're in a really good place. You know what I mean? Like as far as like understanding trading, they like asked a bunch of questions. It's pretty sick, man. There's a lot of people who have joined the Discord because they made the money. That's the best. I'm down 60% on coffee. Do you think it will come back? Or what's your expiration on that? I did cover Tesla. I did. All right. 24-hour test. PayPal's looking pretty green, right? And oftentimes we'll see something like this and then an immediate reversal. I kind of hate PayPal for that reason, because it'll take the most minuscule resistance. You know what I mean? You don't really have a box up above you. You have overhead right here at 6113, and it will just stop. And so looking at that, you have a target, I think a 6130. There's like a minor, but has to be 6160. But you'd have to kind of, rock climb your way up there for the retest of 6471. So good expiration, and good entry would be extremely important. All right. You're in the free still. Keep grinding. Yeah, I keep trying to reemphasize, the Discord itself is a tool. There's a lot of people in there who've gone through what you've gone through, and they've made it through the other side, and they'll talk with you. Like there's Neil inside of the Discord, man. He's super duper helpful. And he just helps people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Junior. He helps people a lot. Diddy, I think he just harasses people. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of cats in there, man, that are taking the time, to talk people through things that they've gone through as well, because maybe not even I have the same everybody has different experiences. So Meta has a break of 605. Excuse me, yeah, 605 that it needs. This one I'm trying to keep it really simple. I need a 620 reclaim and a 630 punchback, and this one has a trigger up to that 691. So but yeah, I mean, it's those of you guys in the Discord, you guys know, you guys have seen people, D Train and other people. But you know what the thing is like there's some people, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. The longer I do this, the more I realize, because I want everybody to win, dude. Like sometimes it bothers me how much it bothers me when people don't win. But then I look at like what they do, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that like video games are bad or anything like that, but like, like they're late at the bell, they show up for 20 or 30 minutes, they don't really talk. Then they go hop. I see, they connected their video game, so they hop on their game. And I see that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like you're late, you're not showing up, like then you're getting on your video games, you're not asking questions, and then in after hours, they're still on their game and they're not inside of the study room. And it's like the dopamine that you seek, you have to give up the short-term dopamine sometimes for the long-term, that sticky, icky stuff. But that's sometimes we just get sick of our own shit and we decide to change, or we just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting things to change, and that never happens. All right, what else do we have? Anyway, Live Fest created a treasure box. What the fuck is a treasure box? What does that mean? What's a treasure box? Let's see. You have one treasure box in your current live. Does anybody see that? What does that mean? 20 people can collect the coins. The Shine Box? Did I get Shine Box, dude? Oh shit. People have people do spend money on memberships and then don't show up. Because here's what they really think. They correlate it to a product that is going to make them money. But that's not how that works. It's you, right? Plus me, plus the group, plus the workshop, and then your effort and time and equals experience, equals your own independent trading platform, you know? So and it comes down, I think down to personal things, I don't think I think that if everybody if I could get everybody in who came into my Discord therapy and get them kind of a little bit more aware, or some of them need some mushrooms. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but if I could get everybody in there some sort of therapy or have a therapist like on call, I think we'd have more profitability. But I literally did that and then crashed out about it. Don't be me, Brian. It happens, man. And I get it. I do get it. Listen, but it's those frustrating moments that call change, right? And it's like sometimes you have to like realize that you might be getting mad, but it's really you're mad at yourself. Like you're mad at it's you. But it's easier to discharge that on somebody else or or say it's the market. Man, you got to take this shit so serious. Like you get to have fun. Like me and Junior sound like a fucking mariachi band, dude. Every time we make money, he hits the ay, oi, 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 and then shit's amazing. But that only comes, from asking fucking a lot of questions. A behavioral coach, yeah, could even be good. So, Unk, what? Potter, is it worth wire transferring less than $500 or $25 as an experience? Yeah, that's fine, dude. See, sounds like me in college. Now I don't use my degree, make music, and invest in AI infrastructure. There it is. It's funny how that works, man. Heard a great space with a few billionaires last night. When there's a 50% sale for your favorite bag, you run to the store. Then when stocks are down 50%, people are scared as fuck and don't make moves. It's very true. I would suggest a decent understanding first to be able to ignore or walk away from distractions. Yeah, and or know how to use your distractions. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we opened up in range. It's like if right now. Listen, I'm going to give you guys a real life example. Right now, as if pretend right now, everybody. I'm going to show you guys how I do this. Okay, so you're stepping into my brain for 2 seconds. Actually, don't go all the way in there. Don't look around. Okay, eyes forward. Don't look left or right inside of my brain. I go to the 2 hour, and here's the thing. It's so simple to me, and when this finally clicked, I was like, oh, okay, that's why I'm stupid. If the 24-hour or the higher time frame rules, right, and I have a structure here, and I know that this is the floor that needs to be recovered, there's no trading in between the two. There's no trading in between the two. And if I am just can't help myself, what am I looking for? I can go over to my left and I can set an alert. Right. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Right. I wake up. Yawn. I get up. I go to my computer and I see this. Up against resistance. No floor, right? No higher time frame floor has been recovered. Clearly. And in order for me to trade up into this empty space, I need this floor to be recovered. So what am I doing? Why am I showing up? Why am I trading? Because I am fearful that I'm going to miss something. But you can only be fearful, right? We fear what we don't understand, we don't know. Oftentimes, And so in this case, I think it would be the exact same thing. Understand how or what needs to happen in order for us to go up, and then react. But if you can learn to sit, if more people would learn to sit before they make these decisions or show up every single day, they'd save themselves a lot of suffering. And I, it, some people just have personal issues, right? Bills that need to be paid. And it's just like they got to fucking make, and the market doesn't give a shit. And you have to remember that it's a fucking machine. It moves. You either move with it or you're the grease that fucking keeps it moving. So I typically don't buy contracts when it's already in empty space. Some people get away with chasing. I don't do it. It's a discipline thing. So, but anyway, thank you guys for tapping your screen. Would you suggest a decent? Would you say? I would say, yeah. Okay, never mind. PSTG down. I think this thing's, yeah, I think this thing was on Friday. So you had a floor over here, first green candle to your left, right? This one right here. And you retested it. You did not reclaim it. So that tells me on the 4 hour, there's a floor and you retested it and you did not reclaim it. That tells me on the 2 hour, there's likely going to be that same structure and there's going to be empty space to cost basis. So empty space is 83.65, and that would be, right, where you would want to see this candle push up and hold. If we can do that, right, there's a gap. I can still see it, I think. Hold on, before we walk away too far. So I can see a move possibly up into that 88, but the reality I think is that this level at 86 has been significant, where that would be where that retest would occur. Now, if you're bearish, right, you would want this empty space to get filled up quickly, and then you could take a short when it loses the floor, right? Or you could take a rejection trade off of cost basis. And then at that point, yes, there is more empty space and there is a target down below at 71 bucks. Not a bad little downside setup. How's making? Making what? Empty space is that black space between the gray boxes. The black space, yeah, no, it's just that's funny. I get how that would come across that way. So empty space is actually going to be so this is structure, right? This is consolidation. When you get these big moves, right, in any one direction, that's what creates empty space, right? And sometimes higher time frame. Now, I hate this stock because it's not very liquid and doesn't create those empty spaces like empty space like I like. But you could look at ELF, right? So something like this is a prime example of why I trade inside of these pockets of empty space. If you dump fast, you typically will rip fast. And I take that, into account when I'm looking to the upside, especially, and the downside. But yeah, I trade inside of these pockets or out going into these. And this was an equity play that I purchased back in April. And I did it the same way that I buy trades or buy, shares, or excuse me, buy options. I looked at a break outside of the box. I saw empty space in between us and the box. I was buying equity because the options suck balls. I was basically looking long term at taking this thing all the way up into that 122 mark from 55, right? And people might be able, there's nobody who could predict that. Go fuck yourself. Excuse my language, but like you could go back and you can go do this yourself, right? You can go do this yourself. Go back and look at a chart that has any sort of liquidity, right? And go look at how this empty space gets filled. Go look and look what it comes out of and tell me that, okay, I know my strategy is simple, but why do we need to complicate things? Some parts of this, the lower time frame you get, the faster you trade, the more complicated it's going to be no matter what. But as a basic rule of thumb, right? Big dump, big rip. Right here, you fill up, right, into that empty space. And typically, if you stop at any point inside of that empty space, it's going to be the 50% mark of it. And we've done this. We actually, inside of the Discord, we have and those of you guys who are watching right now, this is, if you're not inside of it, there is a bunch of trading setups that we went through the gains page. We got to go ahead and get that started again. But these are plays that we looked at because of the same thing, right? Consolidation, empty space traded up to the open. I believe Lulu, JetBlue, right? This was empty space. You ripped so fast, hit the floor, and then retraced. Same thing. What is this one? This is NU, right? Punch through a box, empty space, rip through the empty space. Every single play, right? I'm not looking, and there's some, like, I know some of you guys are like, what the fuck? Why are you insulting my chart so much? But it's like, dude, I look at Bank of America and I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in there that would have been fire. Maybe in here that would have been fire. But for now, not for me. And it's so easy for me to make that decision because of what I know, right? The truth. The truth has been revealed to me. Empty space rips ass. I want to rip ass. I don't know if you guys want to rip ass with me, but I would love it if you guys would join me in the rip assage that I have been experiencing for the last 6 years. You know what I mean? And if your family doesn't believe you, just tell them what I just told you. I'm ripping ass with my boy Potter. They'll understand. They'll get it. They'll get it. Look, same thing. I just keep doing this. I can do this all night. Look, empty space. The rest of that shit filled up too, right? Netflix. We shorted the shit out of this thing. Punch down through structure. Empty space right there. You dump just as fast as you rip. This is the sauce. This is we've spent so much time making all these dumbass indicators and all this other shit, and it's like, just trade some boxes, man. Just trade some boxes. Find some empty space and look at longer expiration, low risk, high reward, target based contracts. That's my sauce. And sometimes we get lost in the sauce and we end up taking, the sauce spills down into the 5-minute time frame and we're scalping again. But it's always good to reel yourself back out and be like, you know what, dude? That's where the money is. The longer the longer place, the bigger place. Potter sauce. This is the Potter sauce. I don't usually drip my sauce. This is sounding suspect. All right. Anyway, let's look for some more sauce. 5 people just left after I said Potter sauce. That makes sense. It makes sense. Get it? You know what I mean? Thanks. Still due to this stuff. Me too. No shit. Listen, the Dave and Buster's by my house is busting. Is busting. It's Dave and busting, dude. I heard people talking trash about Dave and Buster's. Listen, I get it. The whole thing's a scam. The games suck. I mean, the games are okay. You know what I mean? The more hammered you get, the funner the games are. But I ain't mad at it. Now, does this one fill up its empty space juicy like? It does have a knack for the juice. The Cranberries are playing right now. I don't hate it, and I gotta write it down, dude. That actually doesn't look bad. Dave and Buster's, dude. How about this? If we make money on Dave and Buster's, I'll take everybody to Dave and Buster's when we go to Universal. Are we looking at earnings? I guess we are. It's probably gonna dump. No, just kidding. All right, sus as fuck. What do you mean, Wayland? Where are you going to get this type of analysis? This is how I fly under the radar. They're never going to take me serious if I say shit like this. But if they don't take me serious, then I don't end up on the watch list. If I don't end up on the watch list, BlackRock doesn't take me out. Mossad. Are we looking at a gap? Gap as a gap? It does have a gap. It has a big ass gap. I know the gap looks good over 25.50 muchacho. Top paying 25.65. Excuse me, 25.65. Use it looks like the universal level here. Yeah, set alert on that bad boy. You don't think I'm on a watch list? Bro, you talk about all the right groups. Say it. What groups? Say it. Say it. Say the name. K-View. Gold looks short. Oh, wee. K-View. This is a confusing ass chart, dude, because you got empty space up above you, but you do have a wick through that empty space because of earnings, but you got to kind of ignore it. These lines are so bright. You could take these lines hunting with you, dude. There's a little hunting joke for you. Look at that. Look at that shit. So, long and short of it, 1685 needs to re-break. 50% of that is 1750, and then the floor is 1789. Get on out of there. Gold. Looks short. You know, maybe. Let's reevaluate. This guy wants to short the U.S. economy. Interesting. Little pinch there, little pinch. You got a big fat juicy area down yonder. You got I do. I see how it rejected up yonder. Right there, yeah. I see that big dog. Let's see this shit. Yeah, so I mean it is 3 rejections off of 377.16. However, if that pops up, dude, I think it'll fill that. This is what I would want to see, dude. Pop up and then come back down. Punch down, go for the gap. But I feel you on that one. And I think that not you physically, but financially I feel you. 371. 371 looks pretty juicy. All right, open for equity. I'm always open for equity. Let's see here, 24-hour, weekly. I think my ancestors just whispered in my ear. They said not yet. But honestly, I don't know if I trust my ancestors. What are you doing over there? Get out of there. Sometimes when I need to drink water, my voice gets off radio-like. Welcome to 107, The Box. Tonight we're going to be opening your box. I feel like I'm on the backside of a pillow. Hopefully not the peanut butter ones. Hey, hold on there. Stop with the peanut butter. You're weaponizing peanut butter, dude, and that's just kind of Israeli of you, dude, if I'm not gonna lie. Hey, dude, I'm being honest with you, Shirley. I can't make tails high. What is it? What do they say? What do them people say? Heads or tails of this shit? I can't make heads or tails of this right now. I think when I get things get confusing, lower time frame, I could try to just level out like, okay, I see a clear candle closes at 1850, right? So that would be something that would get this started in the right direction. And then I typically will look for, like, again, candle closes above me. I see 975. So I mean, it's interesting when I look for when I look for equity plays. It is empty space like this. Yeah, that would intrigue me, and that's 2240. So I mean, I don't see any reason why that's a bad idea. I think just where you want to put yourself. There is empty space down still, but all right. I did went through IWM NBIS. NBIS has room both ways. You promise? Thank. It's a bullshit channel right there, dude. So what did we bounce? See, here's my issue, right? Is we need to bounce. We're bouncing off of. You're trying to hold your motherfucking imbalance, right? So like from here to here, you're sitting dead slap center in the middle of the two. And so with that being, with that kind of really shitty move down, like, yeah, you've pulled yourself up enough. And I think looking at the lower time frame, looking at that, what is that, 8850, and then looking over here to your right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with trying to take this. This looks pretty good. Something to add to the watch list. Nice little box right there on the 15-minute. You got a floor right there. Yeah, this is pretty clear. Empty space up above. Knock yourself out. That's not bad. Damn, calendar looks packed. Calendar is pretty packed, dude. It says respond to Ivy's emails. No, it doesn't. It says pre-market prep. That's what it says. Look how busy my month is, dude. Look at that shit. A busy ass month, dude. People are like, why didn't you DM me back, man? I'm busy. I'm busy, dude. Trying to undermine institutions that control our world. Let's see here. Yeah, I actually don't hate that one at all. I'm a sudden alert on that one. I don't really trade that shit, but I'm gonna do it. Remind Ivy send signals. That's super funny, dude. AMD both ways. Catherine. Good eye. Good eye, mate. I'm sorry if you're Australian. Anybody Australian here? You give me a lashing, are you? I'm sorry. You are, William? Are you like in Australia? I'm sorry. Will you tell the Prime Minister of Australia that I am sorry for what I just said? You know what? Fuck. Fuck. That kind of looks really good. It does. It does look good. Set alerts. You're in America now. If you're in the land down under, or you were, then what are we? The land down, like, kind of in the middle? The land upwards, but not quite on the side? What is us? Yeah, listen, on the 1 hour, that juicy 201, United States of Israel. Yeah, according to the Twitter page, dude, we're based in fucking Tel Aviv. You know what I mean? My fucking my FBI agent's just fucking rubbing his hands together right now, watching this stream. So yeah, USA is the land down under. That's funny. I guess it would if you flip the Earth upside down. You know what I mean? All right. What else do we have, guys? Anything else that you would like for me to look at? A and F. If you guys do watch this back on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment, like. I'm trying to grow the YouTube. You know what I mean? I made $150 last month on YouTube. Isn't that crazy? We made it. We made it. I mean, the fact of the matter is it is on the floor. It is bounced for the third time. It does have empty space up above it, and I do have to write it down. It does have fucking earnings ahead of it. Fuck off. All right, we'll write it down. I don't know when that earnings is, but we need to look at that one. Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, doing so. What all do you have written down? I got fucking terrible hand. Look at my handwriting, guys. Look at my signature though. My signature looks pretty fire. Look at this shit. Like the Potter Stocks one. I just fucked it up. I did cover SoFi, yeah. There's a way, no way that there's a guy. That's the guy who signed my hat. It is, dude. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you the sig. Look at it. It's mad weird, dude. Like, look up. This is my name. Like it's right above that. I guess it's correct. I mean, my signatures are fine, dude. It's not auto pen, dude. I'm not Biden. He used auto pen. Oh, get at it. You get it. You guys are. You know what? Sending those hats back. Oh yeah, Blake. Killed it. You should be proud of yourself, dude. Look at Blake right here with his 1000%. All right. Last request. Any last request? I didn't mean it like that, but like, do you record this for YouTube? Yeah. This is gonna be posted immediately after. I'm gonna do a quick scroll around it. Dude, I was so close. I was able to get money out of Baba, but dude, I'm not gonna I was it sometimes I am right, but just not enough, dude. Just not enough right. I ended up hitting. I mean, the contracts went up fat, but then they went right the fuck back down, dude. I'll do it again. I'll fucking do it again. Dell and Workday for earnings. Does Dell move on earnings? No. No. 141 to 120. It's pretty big. It seems like it likes to dump. So, I mean, like, what's underneath you? You bounce off of that. You got empty space up above. So I say 132 could be a target up above on that one. That's not my favorite, but I don't think I would take that. But yeah, I ended up playing Bob. Well, I doubled down after we opened up, and I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get this one. When the market pulled back, Baba dumped with it. and it went down and it hit that, and I was like, I'm tripping, I'm out, like because I already added to this, this morning, and then it completely reversed, and I was holding enough where I was like, all right, these are cooked. So I ended up grabbing the upside, and it just kept ripping. I mean, you look at Baba on the, it was pretty clear. You know what I mean? Empty space down, got a tight little box right here, and so I took Colas right outside of the box, and I was like, if we fucking punch through this box, obviously we're gonna punch through that pre-market high, and it was fucking off to the goddamn races. So that worked out really well. 280%. I missed taking profit on the wick though, so let's see here. PMN. I cannot help you on this one, dude. This is a pump and dump, low liquidity. I'm not ever gonna lie to you guys. There's nothing I can add to this type of shit because their analysis doesn't work on it. You got to have like some sort of uh, knowledge of what. Typically, when I see this, I know the company is not actually doing anything. It's just pumping and dumping. So I don't know. I've already done AMD. That'll be in the recording as well. What else do we have? HMR, Heidmar. It's going to be another one that's not as bad, but pretty bad. Liquidity wise, I try and focus on things that have a little bit more juice. This does not have said juice, but does adhere to some sort of setup. So starting off 120, you need to get to 138, over 154. You could look for a squeeze to 2. But other than that, I really couldn't tell you, man. These are outside of my wheelhouse. APLD. See here. So this one's pretty clear, and it's a lower time frame setup. You wicked off of $22. That's where you need to go up and recover. You've got a base that you're building out of, but it does need a move over 21.55 and onto that $22 floor. Once you get there, you got 30-minute empty space through the box up above, and that would be over 22.50. I like that. Yeah. Hold on one second. Just want to see something really quick. Hold on a second. What? Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I had to look that up. All right, let's see here. Gap. I already did that one. That won't be on the recording on YouTube. I already did Lulu as well. That one looks good. We're looking at that. We're watching that one this week as well. That one's going to be on YouTube. PLTR. This one could be good for a retest back up, and it looked like it might want to do that. You see the 2-hour time frame seems like the easiest to navigate. You can kind of get rid of everything. Just focus on these clear levels up above you. 1 hour kind of clears this up even more. We need an hourly candle close outside to 157. It's struggling to do that. On the 30-minute, you have the 15-minute. You have a nice little range right here, and you could utilize that to try to get this up and out. Any sort of downside move under 152, which is what I would expect a retest off of come Monday morning, that could propel you up to that 163 target. So where did Goku go on the PC? It's right here. Arc has hit the floor. Does have empty space up above it, so a recovery of 74.35, and I would be looking for cost spaces at 75.44 to get hit, but I cannot guarantee anything outside of that until you break over and reclaim 78.05. You have a nice pocket of empty space to 81. All right, EOSC. I think you have a $10 35 or 1035 target underneath you. That seems to be one of the stronger floors. If that's lost, you've got a considerable amount of downside. So yeah, that one does move a little bit more rocky as of recent. And I think as far as floors and retest, no mystery where that one goes back up. So all right, let's see here. Circle over 78. No, nothing here. You did bounce off of your IPO. So you're gonna have, so there's the 4 hour is clear, but the 4 hour has nice little ranges. So it's like literally like rock climbing or leapfrog or some shit like that. You're literally trying to leap up. So I would say 75.38, right? If you gap up, watch for a retest off of 72. So like something, if you were like gap up in here, pull back in there and hit head up. I'd like to try to get to 76.50. This is typically where you build again, and then you'd be looking for 81.85. It does not look bad. EKNG. Let's see. Has Neo Destin returned to 5? I think it has a good chance. I mean, it just retested a heavy base. So it has a good chance of bouncing, right? This has been a pretty, even if it's just a retest the empty space back up above. So like, I mean, you look at what Neo has, and basically Neo back up above 580, you have a 638 retest up there. All right, let's see here. So this is going to be a two-part show, right? You're refusing the floor at $44. Above that, you would have an immediate target of 45.70. That would need to be recovered, and then another target of 48. Again, a lot of ifs. So you're going to have to read and react in order to get into this one. Nice little base that you're building on the hourly. So over 44.34 doesn't look bad, especially if we can see a little rippy. So, all right. Zoom. Sometimes I forget that's a fucking company. Surprised it hasn't crashed already even more, but this thing is just basing out, and I'm not sure if they're just keeping this one like, I mean, I couldn't trade this thing. They are carrying an uptrend on it like this. That being said, you built a box basically here. If this falls, I would be looking for a move down into that 73.20. So it's interesting. Yes, it's going on YouTube. Made 70 on this token. Shut the fuck. Alrighty. It is 8:42. I'm gonna put the kids to bed. Listen, take it easy this week. All right. You can go back, look at the last couple of Thanksgivings. Um, let's see, what is Thanksgiving? It's on fucking Tuesday, Thursday. What is Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's on Thursday, right? Or is it on Friday? Well, I forget. It's the 27th. So you could, I mean, if you could literally just do this, you know, I mean, let's see, damn, that's a lot of price action. So this is November. This is Monday the 25th. Look at how choppy. Look how choppy. After Thanksgiving, nice. So verified. Verified, right? At least one. Let's go back again. Let's see. Shit, going into fucking Thanksgiving was choppy. Look at that shit. Terrible. And you had empty space. You filled up your empty space, but boy, did you do it in the ugliest way. So maybe that happens. I'm not doing that shit. Sorry. Need more oomph than that. Let's see. Let's go to 2023, October, November. Would you look at that? Tuesday, Wednesday, choppy. Choppy. Where's Potter? Potter looks like a fucking homeless man right now, brother. I gotta go get a haircut. I keep getting called Dahmer. So we're gonna, you know. Also fixing up my background. I've got a bunch of cool paintings, including this Alec painting, but I got paintings that I got a bunch of my favorite albums in the mail from storage from Oregon. And I really want to hang them up. And so I'm rearranging my background. My 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 favorite vinyls anyway. Paper fade. I'm not sure what I'm gonna get, dude, but I think I'm balding on the back of my head, so something short. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.